episode of Fired Up. And I'm fired up, and Berick is back. Welcome back, brother.
Mm.
And they kind of missed you. They kind of hate that on the phone format there, you know. But
What can I do? What can I do?
yeah.
You know?
But Berick is back, and we got a lot to actually talk about. So let's get right into it. Free agency and Brooklyn.
Yeah, they got it done, man. They got it done. I can't knock them. I can't knock them. But it's about obviously getting the best opportunities that's laid before you, and they did that. And I just can't knock them. That's all I can tell you. The Knicks, on the other hand, is another story. But the Nets, yeah, they got the thing done. They got the big job done. They went and got 3 players that they felt they can build around, along with Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert, or maybe vice versa. And they seem to be set for the next 3 to 4 years. Now, I say 3 to 4 years because that's how long those contracts between Kyrie Irving and KD are going to last. And KD will probably be about 35 years old by the time that contract expires, and Kyrie will probably be 31. So, you figure in those 4 years, you hope to be able to, at the very least, compete for a title, be in the finals, competing for that title, and or more importantly, getting it. But, they went about doing certain things over the last 4 years that helped them, get to the position they're in now. You start by evidently starting from the top, solidifying management. Then you go out and pick on the Spurs coaching tree. You get, Mr. Atkinson, and you go and have him be your head coach, who apparently he knows what he's doing, and he has the players rallying around him. And when you present that option, that helps. And I'm going to tell you another thing that helps the Nets that people don't talk a lot about is the fact that the Nets didn't tank. And let me explain. During the season in which they won, I think, 21 games, and the season before that they won 17, if I'm not mistaken, they could have easily sat their players down, not developed them. But what they did, they kept playing the players. And as time moved on, the players got better under Atkinson's watch. And you were able to display to the rest of the league that the team had an opportunity and a chance to be better. Along with sound structuring and a great coach, you have an ability to sit down with potential top-tier free agents and get them to at least look at your brand. If they like what they see, they like what they hear, naturally they'll sign on. I say that to say this, because last year, the Knicks did what? The Knicks played their players to a certain degree and sat them down near the end of the third quarter. You wonder why the Knicks always gave up the leads in the fourth quarter? Because they weren't playing their players. They went after their first-round pick, which was Zion Williamson. They didn't get him. They got R.J. Barrett, who I think is going to be good.
That pick was very important, man.
But hold on. But let me just say what I'm saying here.
All right, go ahead. Finish up, man.
What I'm saying is, it's very important to understand. The only reason why I threw that Nick thing in there real quick is to display the difference between what you should and should not do, regardless if you're losing. Play your players, let them develop, and let the rest of the league see what you got. The Nets did that over the last 4 years up until now. The Knicks did not do that. They kept sitting players down because they felt like, let's go after that first pick. Nets didn't do that. That's my whole point. Continue to develop and get your teams better. Don't go out there publicly and sell a phony story about what you're going to do. Just go do it. And Nets did all that. The Nets did all that, and they wound up acquiring 2 top-tier free agents along with a good, decent, solid rim protector behind Mr. Jared Allen. That is DeAndre Jordan. I think they did very well in that department. Not just what they did today or 3 days ago, but what they did 4 years ago, what they did 3 years ago. People are not talking about that as much, but I'm going to bring it out here on our channel and let you guys know that I watch from afar. This man says watching from afar doesn't work. It does work. You just don't say much about it. That's exactly what the Nets did. What you say?
No, I think I didn't like it. I was emotional with the D'Angelo Russell departing. But I look at it, if I was in Sean Marks' position, the Nets were actually last in attendance. And you kind of had to do the deal. You had to do this. And Kyrie Irving, he is a better player than D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo averaged was it 21.3 points a game. Kyrie Irving averaged 23.3 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said on last week's show, if we get the Kyrie Irving that I saw in the regular season in Boston, those first 20 to 25 games where he was actually looking to get everybody involved, and let's face it, this is the team he actually wanted to play for. You know, he got drafted by Cleveland, didn't necessarily want to play there, but because of his rookie contract, he had to play there. They traded him to Boston. Boston wasn't on his list. So, the Brooklyn Nets, this is where he wanted to come to. Let's see if him and Kenny Atkinson, and Kenny Atkinson is known for developing point guards, and look what he did for D'Angelo Russell and Dennis Schroeder and even Jeremy Lin. That was his project right there. The insanity was because of Kenny Atkinson developing him. You know,
who has a ring, by the way?
Yeah, who has a ring? But let's see. Kenny Atkinson is not going to put up with Kyrie Irving's nonsense. I know that for sure. I like the Taurean Prince trade. I don't know what Atlanta was thinking. Yeah, I know. You know, he's young. He turns the ball over sometimes. But I look at it. He reminds me. I was watching some clips. I say, hey, this looks like Pascal Siakam with a 3-point shot. So,
well, let me ask you this question, and this is something that I think is going to be heavy on many Brooklyn Nets fans.
I'm listening.
And them so-called fake Knicks fans are going to go across the river. I'm sorry to put it that way, but
this is what you have to do, Berick.
Hey,
I've been talking about doing the first sports intervention.
There's none
here.
There's no intervention. There's no intervening.
Die-hard Knicks fan
and will remain
that hasn't done anything for you. You know, I'm 40.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I've seen playoff series. I've seen the finals.
You seen some playoff?
Okay,
all right, but that was 20 years ago. 2000 was 19 years ago was the last real playoff appearance.
No, we were in the finals in 2000. I'm sorry, we was in the playoffs in 2000.
Yeah, when Jason Kidd was there. Yeah.
Okay,
we had second round.
We had a couple good runs. Yeah, we had a few
couple of good runs. Yeah,
but my thing is this. This is heavily on people's mind. Or will be, if not now. Do you see Kyrie Irving deferring leadership to Kevin Durant?
Well, most of these guys start making impacts. If you look at, I think Michael Jordan, didn't he win his first championship about, was it 27? No, it wasn't 27. I think it was 29.
He won his first championship 9 years into his career. 9.
So how old was he then? He was like 28, 29 years old?
Something of that nature, yeah.
So most of these guys start making real impact in terms of leadership at 27 years old.
Although Kyrie already has a ring.
Kyrie has a ring. But Kyrie is actually 27 years old, and we'll actually see if he matured or not. And again, this is a place that he actually wanted to go to. And
right.
I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, they're scary, man. I mean, you still have Karis LeVert. I mentioned this on last week's show. He's a high percentage one-on-one player, you know, meaning that the opposing coach, you know, in their meetings, they have to game plan for Karis LeVert. He has an explosive first step. You have to double team him. You can't isolate him on defense.
I don't know about double teaming him if you got to worry about Kyrie roaming around the floor. See, another player will always get another play. Listen, you're playing more man-to-man nowadays. That's why the pick and roll is such an effective thing. You can zone at times, but I think when a defense decides to go on a zone concept, there's no double teaming in the low post. It'll be more or less on the top post, and that's if LeVert's killing them. LeVert has to kill them. I hear what you're saying, but LeVert has to go out there and make 5 of his first 9 shots. If he's doing that, yeah, they're gonna come in.
The league already knows about Karis LeVert already.
They know about him.
But it's not like he's gonna. If he starts hitting that 3, you know, he's a 32% 3-point shooter.
Well,
I believe by next year, I think he should get it up to like 34-35%.
He needs to be consistent with his shots.
You still retain Joe Harris, the league's best 3-point shooter, percentage-wise. Not literally, percentage-wise.
Why? Because he bottomed out in the series. He bottomed out in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. He forgot how to shoot.
A little MIA on Harris.
Yeah.
You have the potential to be killers out there. That's what Vex just led to my point a half a second ago. I'm not discrediting the fact that LeVert cannot be a person you have to double team. You might have to. But if the man if he's clanking, there ain't no double teaming.
Yeah.
If Harris is
there's no hand checking in the NBA.
So
and the dude has an explosive first step.
I've seen Kyrie shoot 7 for 28 from the field many times.
Well,
okay,
that's going to happen.
And you know what?
I think Kenny Atkinson is going to put the reins on him a little.
You hope he does.
He won't have to play almost 40-something minutes a night because you have Spencer Dinwiddie that can back him up, and
provides you stay healthy.
Yeah, and I think Musa. I believe he might be NBA ready. Let's see what he looks in terms of his.
You'll find out in the Vegas Summer League with the next guy going on with that. You ain't gonna see him right now. You'll find out later on this month.
We'll see if he actually developed his body and he got stronger.
And we'll keep an actual eye on the Summer League because the young players are.
Wilson Chandler. Chandler. They got Wilson Chandler. As a replacement for Jared Dudley.
You got a nice little bench that's going to support your 2 stars.
Oh yeah.
But understand this as Brooklyn Nets.
Well, Karis LeVert is an all-star caliber player too. He was before he got hurt. He was playing at an all-star level.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's an all-star caliber. Just because he doesn't make an all-star team, and this is my barber and I. We were arguing about this last night. Doesn't mean the player is not an all-star type caliber player. There's only so many slots available for that team. But you still have an all-star caliber player where you know a player can average like 20, 22 points a night.
Let me just add to that point, and this is going to be on a former net player. He's not officially former until there's a sign and trade done. But let's not discredit D'Angelo Russell for making an all-star team, but he was not anointed the original pick. He's
still an all-star caliber player.
Okay, caliber
player.
Got selected based on injury.
Yeah.
Now LeVert can be that player more than
he's an A player. I mean, I know what I'm going to get out of D'Angelo Russell. When I turn on the TV or I'm watching him, I said high probability he's going to score like 20 or more points.
You need
other players like Wilson Chandler, like these type of role players. You don't know. Maybe you'll get something out like Danny Green is not a an all-star caliber player because you just don't know what you're going to get out of him. Maybe every 3 to 4 games he may have a good game. D'Angelo Russell, he's their main focal point. He was the main focal point of that team, and yes, he scored 20-something points a game despite being the main guy to be centered on by opposing coaches. He's an all-star.
Let's just understand one thing, and this is one thing. You have a team set. Their team won't be complete for another 2 years. But this next season coming up, you'll get a small glimpse of what you can get when you add the other player to that team the following year. And I think that is where you want to focus as a Brooklyn Nets fan is let's see where we are this year with that guy potentially being in the next year. And like I said, it's hard to stay healthy in any sport.
Well, Kenny Atkinson is not going to run these players into the ground.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah, let's be realistic. He will take losses.
Okay,
Kenny Atkinson will take losses rather than burn his.
Okay, but don't put this man on a high coaching pedestal. He's not Pop. He's not Jerry Sloan. He's not Phil Jackson. He ain't there yet. So let's just say this. You can put a man in for 5 minutes. I'm sorry, how long was KD in that game before he tore his Achilles tendon? 10 minutes?
Best player in the game.
10 minutes.
Best player on the floor.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Can I say it again? 10 minutes. I hear what you're saying about Atkins' minute plan. He should have a plan. Just like a manager in baseball says, I got to amount of pitches that I want my pitcher to throw. 90 pitches? Okay, he's got to come out. The bullpen got to come in. I get it. That's what today's sport. It's called the analytics.
That's if I'm looking down on the phone, I'm constantly hitting the refresh button, seeing if Kawhi Leonard is actually going to where Kawhi Leonard is actually going to be landing. So I'm not being unprofessional here, but I'm refreshing every 5 minutes to see if there's any breaking news. Hopefully we can break some news on the show. Kawhi Leonard either is going to sign in Toronto, the Lakers, or the Clippers.
My guess is he's going to stay in Toronto. That's my guess. I don't know Kawhi Leonard. I don't know his people. And I don't have some guy on the phone saying, "Oh, B, man, this is what I'm hearing." He's more close to the situation I am. This is my guess, not even an opinion. Okay? And we are in the business of giving opinions. But Kawhi Leonard has always been very, very secretive, private, keeping his things close to the vest in regards to what he intends on doing. Somehow there's some little rumor out there that he's going to stay in Toronto, and the only reason why they come up with this is because he stands to make a lot of money over the next 5 years if he takes this.
He's
decision.
making the Lakers, man. I think he's destroying the Lakers every single minute.
If he goes to the Lakers, let me tell you something. He goes to the Lakers, you might as well just say, you know what? I'm not even watching basketball next year. I'm not even watching basketball next year because it's pretty much a foregone conclusion the Lakers are going to win the title. If he goes to the Lakers. Yes,
I don't know about that, man. Now, hold on now. Because they're not going to have a bench, and you could think Kawhi Leonard, if he does go to the Lakers, by holding out this long. I mean, those plan B's and C's and D's and E's are gone already.
Listen, 95% of the league has already made a decision already. Who's he holding back? That's why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, you lost out on Darren Collison. You lost out on Seth Curry, who the Lakers were targeting, 3-point shooters. You lost out on those two. I don't know if they was going to be able to afford Seth Curry, but maybe he takes a little bit of a discount. You know, I mean, the more, in my opinion, the more and more that Kawhi holds out and wait, the less likely that he goes to the Lakers. That's my
best guess is.
I think Berick concurs.
He's opinionated on it. I'm guessing that he's going to be in Toronto.
Yeah.
What I said before, and I'll say it again if I didn't get it out there. He stands to make a lot more money, and he still has the ability to cement his lore in basketball as being the guy who's responsible for bringing not just a title, but a continuous success. If he signs this 2-year deal, which is going to be worth $161 for 2 years, he can then opt in, which is what Kevin Durant could have done if he stayed in Golden State, and then he'll get a deal that will bring him well over $254 million plus on top of what he's already making for the 2 years. If you do that, you combine the two, he's going to be making well over $300 million in 5 years. Would you turn that down? In a city that's already built to win a title? Because you already won one. I understand the Domino's had to fall, Golden State got a little hurt.
You got to remember, too,
I understand that.
The West is actually much better this year, man.
And the East
we're going to get into the this, and it's going to tie us into free agency. In terms of the West got significantly better. And Utah, they lost Derek Favors, but they got Bogdanovic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But, yeah, you know, he can give you 19 points a game, 3-point shooting, Mike Conley Jr. That way Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to handle the ball, which I don't want to see, man. He turns the ball over a lot and his shot selection. But they have a good quality stabilizer there, Utah.
Utah looks like they're going to be all right.
I like that backcourt.
I think practically 9 teams in the Western Conference will be all right next year. And again,
the Pelicans.
I went on record last week, even though I wasn't sitting here. I went on record last week and said the Pelicans won that whole entire situation. They won the draft. They won free agency.
Absolutely.
And you'll find as time goes on that they are going to be very formidable. You don't let AD go unless you got a plan. Hint, Knicks. You don't let KP go unless you got a plan. I don't see what the plan is developing, but that's another story for another day.
If you sign KP, they would have no money for Kyrie Irving and
that's fine because what I learned, KD,
you had to sign what do you call it? You had to sign Kyrie and KD first. They weren't
going to sign both. Like I told you before on the phone, they were going to go up to KD only because KD wanted to play with KP.
All right, so let's get into free agency. Ben Simmons, max contract. You think he deserved the money, or he signed? Where is it? 5 years.
Yeah, he got a lot of
$170 million.
Listen, it's worth it because sign your player now. Don't worry about 3 or 4 years later. Should we got to go buy? We got to worry about signing him. Sign him now where he got the money. He has been playing fairly well. He still got to develop a jump shot, but does
the only thing is that you haven't seen no development from years 2 into years 3.
Because
he's still a horrible
He's embarrassed.
freak.
He's embarrassed by his jump shot, Rasheed. Every time they want to go see
I know
him
that's
shoot,
what they're saying.
Every time he wants to go shoot, people want to see him. He don't want nobody watching him shoot.
Hire a shooting coach.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's trying to work privately.
Lonzo Ball got an ugly shot. Hey, even our boy Karis LeVert. His release is kind of like,
listen, he wants to shoot privately. He don't want no one to watch him shoot. You want somebody to watch you undress and take a shower? Okay. So this is what he said.
I still don't think they have a good fit between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Listen,
the idea in basketball is to try to put as much pressure.
You asking the wrong question. That they overpay for Al Horford.
No, you need a locker room guy. You need a guy that's mature. He can hit the
over
threes.
$100 million for Al Horford.
He can hit 3-pointers. He's a good locker room guy. A good coach.
Okay, a good locker room guy. You're gonna pay $100 million for a good locker room guy?
He's still productive.
Lord,
he can hit threes.
Somebody please help this man. All right. The bottom line is, I think Al Horford will help you.
I agree with
but
you.
he was overpaid for his position.
Yeah, all right. I agree.
That's the guy in Philadelphia that's overpaid. Not.
I still don't think that Simmons and Embiid fits, man. Like I was saying before, I was rudely cut off there.
Whatever.
You want to put as much pressure on the defense as possible. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be from you having to score the basketball. You know, you can actually like how Richard Hamilton and Reggie Miller was. You know, sets come off those curls, come off those screens.
Yeah,
just the fact that you're actually that type of threat. You know, that's those putting much pressure on the defense right there. Now, when you have Joel Embiid on the 3-point line, taking 3-pointers, that's not putting pressure on the defense.
Al Horford's not going to do that. He's not
I'm talking about Joel Embiid. I'm just talking about the fit between Simmons and Embiid right now. I don't think they fit unless Ben Simmons, you know, shoots, gets a better jump shot, or Embiid is actually willing to take a lot of 3-point shots, which is not his strength. You're bailing out the defense when he has to hang out on the 3-point line to provide the spacing for Ben Simmons. So I don't really like the signings.
I think the coaching has to be a little bit better in Philly. Head coach in Philly got outcoached many times by Nick Nurse in that series. And I'm not going to touch on that, but the coach is going to be a little bit better in his in-game, especially fourth quarter. And then, you know, it's another thing, too, that you do have Tobias Harris over there who's going to help. That's 15 to 20 points a night, too. I think Philly's going to be a lot better next year than people give him credit for. I really do.
All right, Jared. Yeah, no, I think they'll be better. Yeah. We'll see. We got to see the fit. They lost some shooters. They lost J.J. Redick, their best 3-point shooter. It's a guard. No, I thought they were reporting that it looks like here that did Kawhi sign a deal? Hold on. This is something I was reading on CBS over here. We're going through there. Let's see, Kawhi. I think did Kawhi sign?
This guy, he's looking at his phone when he should be talking to his
listen. Every analyst is doing this, man. If you listen to them, they all doing this. They on their phones looking,
they on their phone
refreshing.
Looking. So while he's doing all that, let me interject what I'm saying right here to you guys.
No. I thought
Kawhi Leonard should stay in Toronto, and I think a word that this man is getting tired of hearing me say, but he needs to understand that the league needs this is parity. If he goes to LA, even though the Lakers really don't have a bench right now, I can admit to that. But I still think the Lakers will be smart enough to find enough people to solidify these players that they got, at least for 10, 15 minutes a game to get them some rest. Here's my thing. If Kawhi does sign with the Lakers, that's what's going to probably happen. If he stays in Toronto, there'll be an even balance in both conferences, meaning that there's at least 2 solid players per team that they can rely on along with the rest of the team. I think that's parity to me, don't you think? But if the Lakers got 3 guys that could dominate, which is about an average of 70 to 80 points a game, you think that's parity? No, it's not.
Speaking of the Lakers, they got Jared Dudley. They picked him up. What's your take on that? What do you think?
Jared Dudley can hit a 3. He's pretty decent in the post.
Good locker room guy. Not in the post, but
I
think defense.
He's got size.
Smart.
That'll help.
Savvy veteran, but I don't think Jared Dudley could play at a high NBA level anymore. The Lakers need.
He don't need him to.
The Lakers need players.
What I just say? Give me 10, 15 minutes off the bench during the course of the game, not one half. Give me enough time to spell my guys and hit a couple shots if you can, and that's it. That's all I need from you.
All right. Kemba Walker to the Boston Celtics.
It'll fit. It'll work.
And it's cancer.
I think it'll work. And his cancer's all I know. He's a double-doubles guy.
Okay.
So it'll work in Boston. I think they'll be better this year. And listen, Rozier and Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they regressed last year with Kyrie being there. I don't think they're going to regress this year. You add them to step up their game and what they've added. Boston's not. Listen. Indiana, listen, Milwaukee, they lost Brogdon to Indiana. Milwaukee will find a way.
We gotta get. I forgot about the Indiana man.
Indiana's looking, and
Victor Oladipo comes back.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. I don't know how strong he's gonna come back with knee injuries, but you're better off coming off a knee injury than you're all coming off Achilles. I'm just throwing it out there. But either way, these teams in the Eastern Conference. But that's that parity.
All right,
word.
Now there was a lot of.
Remember,
talk.
I said that.
There's a lot of talk with D'Angelo to Golden State Warriors. Now, you think that's a good fit right there, or a lot of people don't understand? Like my barber and I, we were really arguing about this, a heated argument last night over this, man, and he doesn't think D'Angelo Russell. What I was talking about on last week's show was, now, Berick, can you answer this question for me? Is the shot clock your enemy or your friend?
It's only an enemy if you keep holding on to the ball.
All right, so you got 20. You have 24 seconds, and I'm explaining this. Apparently, all the non-basketball IQ, low basketball IQ guys out there that keeps arguing with me about this. You have 24 seconds on the shot clock. You have 8 seconds to advance the ball up to the half-court line. So now it's down to 18. Now, what teams would normally do, especially next year with no Klay Thompson, they're going to trap Steph Curry as soon as he gets to half court. Steph Curry has to release the basketball. And they're going to try to force non-playmakers to actually beat them. By the time the ball gets back to Steph Curry, he's going to have 8 seconds to work with in the shot clock at the half court line. And you know what happens there. You're just putting a lot of pressure on him to try to make something positive happen. You want Steph Curry to actually have the ball around 12 to 13 seconds in the shot clock. And D'Angelo Russell is a good playmaker. He's not going to turn the ball over. If you actually look at Draymond Green, the more and more I see him with the ball in his hands, the more and more I cringe. He does a lot of stupid things with the basketball. So now, with D'Angelo Russell there being a playmaker, you cannot overload on Steph Curry like that. You can't. There's a reason why he goes 0 for 8 in the last 2 minutes of the game.
You're contradicting your question right now, because what you want to ask directly is, will he be able to make wise decisions?
And I know he can. I mean, that's his strength.
In that offense, right? In that offense, when they decide to double team Curry, because they're not going to do it all game. When the opposing team will double team Curry, I'm not saying they won't do it. They will at certain points of the game. Can D'Angelo Russell function in that system? I think with Steve Kerr and his coaching staff, they will definitely work with him and make sure he understands the place and position he needs to be in. When to dish, when to shoot, where to be at on the floor. And I think he'll be okay. But based on the way he plays physically, naturally people are going to say, no, he doesn't fit Golden State's style of playing. Now, the other part of that question is, when Klay does come back, where does D'Angelo fit? And that may be the reason why the Warriors are conflicting things about letting him go.
Well, I think because of the ACL injury, I don't want Klay.
When Klay gets back.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
He still has to.
Where does D'Angelo fit in that offense when Klay comes back?
Yeah, I think Klay could play the 3, and you would rather have Klay Thompson guarding a bigger player opposed to having to chase around these fast guards coming off that knee injury, coming back. There's a psychological, the deal. There's a psychological component coming back.
And let me add that with Klay and Steph being at full strength, and their shots are falling. And let me also say, percentage-wise, Klay is a better shooter percentage-wise than Steph.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so with both those guys rolling hard, those two guys alone, with whatever Draymond can put together, they won 70-something games. People forget that. And of course, Iguodala was on the team, but he's going to be gone. So D'Angelo has to fit in. He has to fit in. If he doesn't, when Klay comes back, they haven't done it now, because they're not going to trade him now. They were thinking about doing it. They can't afford to do it now. But I do think this is when we're going to come back to again in mid-season during the season. If D'Angelo does not fit in well there and Klay comes back, D'Angelo might be shipped out of town. If he fits in well there, then he's an added addition, and I think he'll fit fine.
Isaiah Thomas, he's ready to resurrect the Washington Wizards. He's saying he's ready to get back to all-star form.
Well. Let's just look at this. He's always been a sizable player that he's had a lot of heart. He'll go right into the paint just like Iverson did. And he can hit the shot too. But listen, he was in a great system in Boston. He had that great year. He hasn't been able to duplicate it because of injuries and not being in the right system. He went to Cleveland. He didn't fit. Kind of what the point I just finished making. He went to Cleveland. It didn't fit. So he was out of Cleveland. Can he go to Washington and do something over there? We shall see.
The reason why he can't fit because he's not an off the ball player, and he needs the ball. Well, we'll see.
Well, but you're bringing him over there for that.
John Wall's going to be out for another year, right?
It looks that way.
Yeah.
Looks that way.
So,
of course, Bradley Beal's your most valuable player, but you know
they're probably looking. I don't know if they said they're not going to trade him, but I might. Hey, listen, a Bradley Beal and Isaiah Thomas, if he does come back to All-Star form, we'll see. Maybe a 7 for AC, sneaking into the playoffs, squeaking in. Looney returns to the Warriors. Kevon Looney.
He's
a discount.
He's a hard-nosed player. Keep him.
Yeah. They got him. No, they got him. They got him. 3 years. Yeah. 3 years, $15 million. Yeah.
Looney got paid a lot of money just to be an enforcer. He'll make a couple of shots here and there underneath the basket, but yeah, he got good payday for him. Good job.
Noel staying with the Thunder. Nerlens Noel. You like that?
Yeah, keep him.
Okay.
Keep him. Yep.
Matthews to return to. Was it Wesley Matthews?
Wesley Matthews.
I guess he's done. He's returning to the Bucks. Okay, all right. Yeah. Let's see. Will he actually be the same player? He had the Achilles injury too. So
you're looking to replace Brogdon, really. So
yeah.
You didn't gave Middleton all that money, so Middleton got paid, baby.
All right, so the Heat trades Whiteside to the Blazers. Oh yeah, Jimmy Butler. How can I forget about Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah. Jimmy Buckets, man. Now, in your opinion, is he a max player? I don't think so. But
I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to go with yes, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Butler has always been, his biggest problem has been what? Staying healthy. We're talking about a very strong, healthy player. Yeah, he would probably be that kind of guy. But Miami is basically paying him to be that kind of guy. You got to stay healthy, baby. Got to stay healthy. Listen, Miami.
Well, he's played under Thibodeau for like 7-8 years. So and he's getting into his 30s. So there's a lot of wear and tear. Look at Taj Gibson now. The Knicks got him. But Charlotte actually, Michael Jordan not paying Kemba the $200 million max. Is that a bad look on Jordan, or?
You could say the same thing with him and Dolan. I mean, decide not to give a player. Listen.
Well, you don't want to pay $200 million to a guy that's not going to get you into the playoffs, though.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. What has Kemba been able to do over a period of time with the Charlotte Hornets? Can we all sit back and say, yeah, man, remember Charlotte was in the finals?
Yeah, you need a good.
Weren't.
Michael Jordan hasn't been able to. He hasn't drafted well.
Yeah, but Michael hasn't done great anyway. We talked about that off the camera maybe months ago. That maybe some of these ex-ball players like Larry Bird did a great job. With the Pacers, but I'm just saying that I don't fault Michael if he's watching the bottom dollar and he's saying, listen, if I can load up on picks and move forward and I can get better that way, then fine. That's what New Orleans did. They let AD go because they felt they can load up, and New Orleans is loading up. I want to see Michael Jordan do the same thing in Charlotte if you're going to let Kemba walk.
Well, you have Scary Terry, so let's see. He has to actually prove that he's not a bench player and he can actually produce consistently. Not every 3 to 4 games. If that's the case, they got him on. Listen, they got him on a rookie contract. If they don't like him, then now. I didn't know this. Knicks added Alfred Payton to the. All right, so listen, man. It's not a total. I know you were talking like you was very. It's like your heart was broken, man. Like not broken, but your spirit was actually broken when that news of KD and Kyrie going to the.
It's lying to the fan base, man. That's what it is. It's lying to the fan base. But I've often told you many times, the Knicks have always been used as pawns for other people's advantages, and that's why I'm not entirely surprised that this happened. But then you hear all this backstory. But anyway,
you guys got you got Wayne Ellington, who's a good streaky 3-point shooter. He's streaky.
Wayne Ellington's got my heart because he's an ex-Carolina Tar Heel player. So
we can't get emotional here, man.
Tar Heel players always have my heart, no problem, because I'm a Tar Heel guy. So
Patrick Beverley is returning to the Clippers.
That helps out though.
That was a Lakers target right there, and Kawhi, man, the more and more Kawhi, this is make up your effing mind already, Kawhi. But the more and more he actually stalls, and waits and waits. I think more and more, like you said, I think he's going back to.
I think it has to be looking that way
because the Raptors.
Toronto's offering him the most money. The Lakers are offering him 32 max. They have to.
And we'll see if we're right. This is today's Thursday, July 4th. We're actually doing this, so we'll see if we.
And
actually
he said
correct.
his camp did put out there that he's more liable to make a decision on the 4th of July, which is today. So a lot of people kind of got their ears to the ground right now and see if there's going to be any announcements from him. But you look at everything to this very second. Everybody's making moves. Hell, the Lakers are like, listen, you guys can take whoever you want. We know we're going to get Kawhi. Are you really sure about that? Because Toronto can offer him a lot more over the next 3 to 4 years than you can ever offer him. All you offer him is an opportunity to win another chip. I'm sorry, he got 2 of those already. 2.
All right, we got to move through this, man. Jamal Murray got a max extension with the
Nuggets?
Denver Nuggets. There,
Jamal Murray had a great year, so I would extend him.
All right, Chris Middleton got a max contract. A lot of people are bucking about that.
Yeah, they can buck all they want about that because right now, what I just said earlier, you say, well, this person
3-and-D guy,
great
defense.
You gotta sign these guys now while you have them because he's been able to do more good than bad. So
they re-signed Brook Lopez.
Both Lopez brothers.
Both brothers.
Both Lopez brothers. Although,
all right, so you think that's a good move in terms of Brookie?
Yeah. He basically opens the paint if he can hit them 3-pointers, which I know he can.
Okay. So Sixers, we talked about Al Horford, man. We're just going through the line over here. I thought it was $100 million move.
No, it's 109.
109. I'm like,
109. Yeah. Like I said, I think they overpaid for Horford, but you know what? He better deliver this year. You better deliver this year, next year.
He didn't look too good, in that in Boston last year.
Well, no one looked good because of Kyrie.
I thought he would get into Kyrie's head a little bit. Hey, listen, I was with Atlanta in that finals run. You should be able to, I thought he would provide some leadership.
I may not be his guy.
But I just think, Kyrie doesn't want to, he didn't want to be there. He when you don't want to be somewhere, you don't want to be somewhere, and you don't want to listen to anyone. So,
I think Philly will be a lot better this year, but he's got to step up with that money. I'm sorry. You sign that money, you better step up.
All right, so it's okay. George Hill is actually going to stay with the Bucks.
Yeah.
1 year, $20 million. All right, that's not bad. He's a veteran point guard. So the Knicks, $63 million deal with Julius Randle.
Overpaid, but that's the best player you can get.
Listen, 20 points a game, man. 19.7 points a game. Julius Randle. I think it's good.
Yeah, but is Julius Randle gonna lead you anywhere?
We'll see what his off-season development look like, man. Maybe he added a right hand. He was actually shooting the 3 more. If you can actually get that right hand and shoot the 3 more.
Listen. Let me say this. Real quick from a Nick point of view. Let's not even think about ruining the development of R.J. Barrett. Build around R.J. Barrett. You didn't do it with Porzingis. Make sure Barrett is your future.
You need a second guy. You gotta.
True, but don't ruin his development. Yeah, do not ruin his development. Make sure he's the guy.
Right, watch the kid. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm passionate about that.
Yeah.
Make sure he's the guy, and then develop him. Don't get in the way of his development. And build around him if he's your guy.
All right, so Tobias Harris. And there's so much free agency stuff here, man. I'm glad this stuff is actually, we have an actual format over here. Tobias Harris to the 76ers, a max extension. $180 million contract.
It's a lot of money for Tobias Harris, but I do think
he's a better fit than, I would say, Jimmy Butler.
I think he'll be productive this year. I think he'll be productive over the next 3 to 4 years. But, like you say, also he could be a good fit. But you're gonna have 4 players over there that are somewhere along the line that have the ball in their hands at some point. So I think he's a good fit. But 180 mil, I don't know. A lot of teams these days have got the money right now. So listen, let's give these guys the money. Let's keep them. This is what we're gonna go into the future with. So that's why you're paying for these guys.
So Ricky Rubio joins the Suns. I like that move. It takes some pressure off.
I like to see the Suns get better. And I think they will over time.
Their management is horrible, though.
Yeah, it is, but at least they're doing something. They're doing something. Yeah. But with the Suns, they're going to be down the bottom for a couple of years, but they're willing. They've already made the decision. This is why I'm saying something. They made the decision that they're going to start, building from the ground up, literally, and not defer from it. Which means I don't see them going at the big time free agents either. So they're going to try to do it from the ground up. I mean, there's some teams that have done it. Brooklyn's done it with success. Why not? Let's see what happens.
All right, so we talked about Brogdon already to the Pacers. We talked about that, but Indiana signed Jeremy Lamb for 3 years, $31.5 million contract. It's not bad though for a shooter. It's not.
He's an off the bench shooter.
It's not like the Allen Crabbe where you were paying him $20 million a year and he wasn't. He was giving you no productivity whatsoever.
Yeah, Lamb can give you some points off the bench.
Yeah. So,
but you got a $31 million player coming off the bench. I'm just saying.
Porzingis signs a max, 5 years, was $158.
5 years, 158. You're giving him a lot of money for a guy that hasn't played in 2 years, but they believe his potential is on the upside. So you know what? If
you think they make the playoffs? Luka Doncic, Porzingis.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. We talked about J.J. Redick. We talked about Chris Middleton. Rudy Gay re-signs to the Spurs on a 2-year deal. That's a good move. We talked about Terry Rozier. We know about Durant. We talked about all right, Vujic. Oh, okay. No, it's not. I didn't even realize that Vujic to stay with the Magic on $100 million deal. All right, that's a good deal. But they didn't make the playoffs this year, right?
No, they didn't.
They almost made it. They were in that running for the 8th seed right there, but he made the All-Star team, $100 million. A little bit less than D'Angelo, right? 4 years, $117 million. So Nikolai got $100 million 4 years. So but yeah, I think we pretty much went over everything.
But listen, at the end of the day, man, free agency frenzy went as good as the NBA could hope it could go. You always say the winners and losers are in there. Listen, I'll give my winner to this very moment. I still think in free agency you got to give to the Brooklyn Nets. They got the 2 top free agents that everybody wanted. The losers right now, you probably have to say the Knicks. I mean, and
Charlotte too, in a sense, though.
Yeah,
Charlotte.
But this is not a New York thing. I just want to make sure I'm clear about this. We're talking about the winners and losers. But a lot of teams in between did a lot of good things that they felt they needed to do. And more importantly, like I said, the NBA itself, they did probably better than they did ever in the offseason. This was probably the best free agent frenzy they have ever had.
Oh, yeah.
And they covered it well. We covered it as best we can. And the bottom line is that every team in some way or another, even the winners and the losers that I just mentioned, in some way or another just got themselves better. Yeah, even the Knicks. I know they look like crap last year, and they probably don't look like crap this year, but they actually got a tad bit better this year with what they brought in versus what they lost. So everybody in some way or another has done something to better themselves. All right, and that's what makes
so
the
your
frenzy.
your projections for next year, the top, the dust. I think the dust is settled and cleared right now with free agency right now. We're still waiting on Kawhi.
Once Kawhi goes, I think once Kawhi goes, I'll say this: if Kawhi stays in Toronto, Toronto has to be the outright favorite to come out the East. They have to be the favorite to come out the East. I'm not saying they will, but they have to be the favorite to come out the East. Out the West, if Kawhi goes to the Lakers, yeah, you would have to consider them out of the first seed or the second seed coming out the West. Golden State will not be there, guys. I think the Golden State Warriors will make the playoffs, though. But I just thought that they'll be a lot lower seeded than people will probably think. Who will be that second team coming out the West, believe it or not? I don't even think it's going to be Houston. Denver, to me, looks like they're going to be sneaking up on people next year. I'd watch out for Denver coming out the West. I know I'm making a bold prediction here. I'll also look out for Portland. So those are going to be the question marks out the West, and I like those question marks. But right now, Kawhi Leonard's kind of deciding that. But if he stays in Toronto, Toronto has to be the favorite to come out the East. If they don't come out the East, you're looking at possibly Milwaukee or maybe even Brooklyn. Even with Kawhi, with Kyrie Irving. If the bench and supporting cast can step up beyond stepping up, and Kyrie is going to be that guy where he can dish and score at the right time in the new system, yeah, Brooklyn will have to be concerned about coming out the East as well. So these are the teams that I'm targeting. I would suggest you target them as well. And I think it'll play out that way. I'm liking what Denver's doing. I'm liking what Utah's doing. But Portland cannot be ignored. Neither can Denver. All right, and obviously the Lakers will be in play because you have the AD LeBron thing. But if they get Kawhi, they got to be the 1 or 2 seed in the West, without a doubt. So we'll see how that plays out. That's going to be my prediction for this season.
All right, we will actually wrap this up, and I think we should be back. Is it vacation time yet? We haven't earned a vacation,
man.
But
we haven't earned it yet. But we'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week, and then we'll actually talk about Summer League, and I guess we'll be looking at.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Summer League, guys. I'm gonna put it on blast right now. We gotta throw a little baseball in there. Those who've been watching us, we haven't discussed baseball. Basketball has been real dominating. I apologize for it, but we have to cover a lot of stuff. And we will continue to cover what's needed to be covered, but we will start moving over towards baseball right now because we got the All-Star break coming up and touch on some of the players and what they're doing there and the teams and what they're doing. We'll touch a little bit on that as well. But we definitely got to cover the Summer League as well. That's going to be a good thing. And, sports is big time this year, guys. Sports is big time this year. We got a lot to talk about. So that'll be pretty much on the horizon.
All right. Like the video, comment, subscribe, share it. We'll see you next week.
That's right. We're going to be back next week, baby. All fired up for this little sports going on, man.
All right.
All right. Talk to you guys next week.